Hello, it's 6 p.m. local time. You're watching VTV News, brought to you by VTV International. Here are headlines for this hour. Da Nang City honors a local volunteer blood donors. And charity houses on public lands for poor households in Kanto City. Now, in response to the National Voluntary Blood Donation Day, which takes place nationwide on April the 7th, Da Nang's Youth Union held a ceremony in the city this morning. The events honored individuals who joined last year's blood drive campaign. The following story has more details.
In 2014, young people in Da Nang City donated more than 18,500 units of blood, surpassing the set target for the year. The volume of blood donated accounted for 99% of blood needed for medical treatment in the local hospital. More than 100 units were collected in emergency situations, demonstrating a great show of compassion by community members, in particular the local youth.
I have donated blood 20 times. I think giving blood is meaningful, especially when my blood can help those patients who really need it.
Da Nang is one of the top cities nationwide in terms of its voluntary blood donation campaign. This reveals that local people, particularly the city's youth, are fully aware of the importance of these programs.
Currently, the need for blood for medical treatment and in emergency situations is increasing. As a result, blood donation campaigns are being carried out more frequently, drawing the participation of many individuals and organizations. In ceremonies like this, Da Nang's Youth Union is not only honoring the active donors, it is also prompting more and more members of the community to be compassionate and donate blood to patients who desperately need it.
Vietnam's export value in the agroforestry and fisheries sectors fell dramatically in the first quarter of this year, threatening both domestic enterprises and farmers. In fact, a whole range of products prices have recently been lowered by buyers, with shrimp witnessing the sharpest drop. Let's take a closer look at the consequences of this developing situation.
The price of white-legged shrimp fell from about $7.5 to $5 per kilo this year, causing huge losses in profits for farmers in the south-central coastal region.
This harvest season, I may break even if I'm lucky. Otherwise, I will face the loss of about $1,500.
The main reason why the export value of shrimp dropped by 30% in this year's first quarter is because of severe competition from other exporting countries, including India, Indonesia, and Thailand.
Because most of the importing countries' currencies have depreciated against the US dollar, their purchasing power has been greatly reduced.
This enterprise has had to diversify its range of products and improve its quality standards in order to expand its market share. However, the result is still doubtful, as the downward trend in exports is forecast to continue in the next quarter. Many businesses have called for the authorities to simplify the administration procedures in exports and imports in order to support the shrimp suppliers.
It takes a long time for the Quality Assurance Department to assess the operation conditions of enterprises. We have to send the document 6 months prior to supervision and wait 6 more months for the result to be announced.
There are 30 provinces with shrimp farms across Vietnam, with the production area reaching 650,000 hectares. However, most of these farmers are operating on a small scale, without strict controls against diseases, and so cannot compete with larger enterprises during a time of low demand in the market.
In the Central Highland province of Lemdong, considered one of Vietnam's most prominent vegetable planting areas, farmers are safeguarding and even cultivating a type of parasitic bee that have been praised to actually protect and boost vegetation. Let's meet these natural heroes in the following report.
These small creatures are bee larvae. Commonly known as DS, an abbreviation for its scientific name, Diadema semiclossum, they owe their fearsome parasitic reputation to the fact that they feed upon the diamondback moth, the main culprit in the destruction of the crops in this region. As such, the DS bees are tiny heroes in the eyes of the farmers here. Thanks to these little natural predators, Mr. Chung didn't have to use any pesticides at all in the last harvesting season, as the bees had successfully eliminated the plant-killing moths.
Previously, in a single crop season, I used to have to spray pesticides twice or even 4 times. I didn't even know if it was effective in killing the moths, and I couldn't stand the smell.
10 years ago, Mr. Chung was one of the first to join a farmers club that protects and studies natural predators like the DS bees. Since then, he has raised his own hive of DS bees and has informed other farmers of their benefits.
It has become a passed-down trick, a farming habit in the region, so we try to share it with as many farmers in as many places as possible.
Since 1997, the Lemdong Department of Plant Protection has been importing DS parasitic bees from Malaysia, which so far have formed a natural community within the Dalat area. It is estimated that each parasitic bee can kill up to 200 of the plant-killing diamondback moths.
To date, we have been able to establish DSB communities in Dalat, as well as in fields in neighboring areas. The control of pests like the diamondback moth is no longer the big concern that it used to be.
Such natural predators have not only saved Lemdong's farmers from unnecessary costs in pesticides, they have also steered agricultural production in the region towards a pesticide-free and safer future.
Vietnam's varied charms are boundless. They will awaken your senses to astonishing wonder. From sight to sound, from smell to taste, you will be touched in ways you've never thought possible. Vietnam is so charming, one visit is never enough.
You are watching VTV News. Now, prolonged drought in the Central Highlands region has caused many rivers, lakes and ponds to dry up. This is seriously affecting agricultural production, local authorities have reported. In Đắk Nông province, nearly 11,000 hectares of coffee plantations are suffering from a shortage of water due to the drought. While many short-season crops have been destroyed, other crops such as coffee or pepper are being severely affected. Currently, the water volume in many reservoirs has dropped to 50 to 70% of their designed capacity. Related managements have reported that if by the end of April the situation has not improved, the area will face an even bigger loss, which may double the current figure of $30 million. To cope with this situation, the Đắk Nông provincial authorities have mobilized all available forces to dredge canals and repair irrigation works. Many large pumps are being used throughout the province to take water from dams, lakes and ponds to water the crops. Now, charity using is an important part of the overall strategy for poverty eradication in Vietnam. Over recent years, in a bid to help poor households, Cần Thơ City has implemented a new charity housing model, building houses on unused public lands. More to follow.
6 months after receiving his house, Nguyen Anh Kiệt in Binh Thuy district of Cần Thơ City still can't believe he's living in a house like this. Life is much easier now for the man who has to take care of his sick wife and 3 orphaned grandchildren.
I could never have a house like this without support from the government. As I'm old now, it's hard for me to make ends meet. And it would be impossible for me to buy a house. The house has everything, a gas stove, cooker, bed, etc. I'm so happy I could cry.
It is among 20 poor households that have received houses. Each house is worth nearly $2,500 and covers an area of over 40 square meters. The district utilized unused public land to build these houses. They mean a lot for poor and disadvantaged families in the district who cannot otherwise afford a home. I'm so happy now. Now that I don't have to worry about where to live, I only have to think about the money for my children to go to school. I hope they can be able to finish grade 10.
We asked it was in the district to review unused public land. For example, there are ditches that projects in the district couldn't use, so we filled them up and built homes for poor families.
Binh Thuy District's model of building charity houses for poor families on unused public land is being replicated across the city of Cần Thơ and has received widespread support from both authorities and citizens.
The central city of Huế received about 430,000 visitors during the first 3 months of this year, according to reports from the local departments of culture, sports and tourism. This figure increased by 1% compared to the corresponding period last year and generated $60 million in revenue. Huế has long been known for its many tourist attractions, including UNESCO-recognized sites and cultural activities such as royal games and royal court music, unicorn dances, and martial arts. More recently, the introduction of sea tourism services in Chiang Mai Seaport has attracted more than 14,000 visitors to the coastal city. Also, a direct flight route connecting the city with Bangkok in Thailand has been launched, drawing more and more tourists to the city. Currently, the provincial tourism department is cooperating with relevant agencies to watch over and better promote tourism activities here to international friends. Now it's time to check out our weather updates. That's the end of what we have for you at this hour. In the meantime, do log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go for more news and updates. Thank you very much for watching and goodbye for now.